All right, kia ora and hello everybody. Welcome back to this Move, Sweat and Suffer podcast. Lee Hazard from Scotland sends his apologies. He can't make it on this one here with us, but we have our special guest, the incredible Rob Williams, Triple B, otherwise affectionately referred to as Body By Burpees. I'm excited, I'm pumped, and great to have Triple B here with us, with Rob here with us today. So what I might do is just hand over to yourself, Rob, if you can give us a bit of a rundown, an introduction of yourself, where you're based, what you do, and then we'll dive into some questions and stuff from there and get to know you a bit more.
Excellent. Yeah, my name's Rob Williams, and as people keep reminding me, I'm 61 years of age, 61, yeah. But I live in, I know, it's scary, mate. I don't like to be reminded too often because I think, not got too many years left. But 61. I live in Wolverhampton, England. Or as I just said to you, Wolverhampton is how we pronounce it. What can I say? I go back a long way with the training kind of thing. So I'll give you a bit of...
go for it.
Yeah, I should go back about, because I'm only about 5'4". When I was at school, I never used to get picked for any of the teams, you know what I mean, because I was too small. People say, you don't want him on our side, he's no good, he's too short, he's too weak, and blah, blah, blah. So I never really got interested in sports and stuff at school. And it was in about the early 1970s, Bruce Lee came on the scene, Enter the Dragon, and everybody wanted to be like Bruce Lee. And that's when my, training... I don't know you'd call it really, but it's when I really started thinking about doing something other than just sitting on my backside and stuff like that.
Gotcha.
So, found a karate club, watched the demonstration, joined that, and that was basically the start of this long progression of training. It's been over 40 years now. Still involved in martial arts to a point, and more do like self-defense kind of stuff.
Gotcha.
So I've done the karate, that was my main thing, I started off a couple of times a week, got really into that, really committed, started enjoying it, because I was always scared of my own shadow being small, and I felt, part of things, whereas at school I was on the periphery because nobody picked me for anything like the teams. I felt really included in the karate, and I kind of flourished and progressed, and as the years went by, I got selected for like international, junior and senior international squads, and
awesome.
While I was doing that, one of the other things I always wanted to do was join the army. So I did.
I was going to ask you about that.
Yeah, I went to the army, signed up for 6 years. Because my granddad fought in the First World War, and I was always really proud of my granddad, So I always said, whatever I did in life, I want to join. I'll join the army. So I was kind of at the high level with the karate, but I thought I want to join the army. I said it's a bit of a toss-up, If I leave, join the army, I'm going to have to stop doing the karate kind of thing. But as I said,
right.
I really, really wanted to join the army, and as I say, I subsequently did just under 6 years, and I came out. I went back into karate again, competing, finished that. And I kind of drifted then. That was probably in the 90s kind of thing, early mid-90s, kind of getting a bit long in the tooth, I suppose, really, for that, for the competition side of it. And the plodding up and down the hall didn't really interest me anymore. I went into self-defence and that kind of thing. And after that, I fell kind of off the wagon, stopped training. I just, unfortunately... I took to drinking. I did a few years of being in a bad place, really, and I had a bit of a wake-up call when I went to hospital once, and they told me I got liver damage and stuff like that, and I went, "Ooh, it was a bit of a wake-up call," and started trying again, mainly running, stuff like that, and it's been like that really up until early 2000s, just in and out of training. Nothing really captured me kind of thing. I was committed with the karate, at least I had an aim to that because I was in a squad, so I'd always got that focus. There was a reason to train. But when I left the karate, I enjoyed the training, but there was no end result, no focus. So I would just get bored and finish. and stopped training. It was kind of like that for year on, year off, up till the early 2000s, doing running and stuff. But that's when I got the arthritis through running, and then the 2011 up to 2019, I did very little training until I had my knee replaced. So I've done lots of different stuff over the years, football and cycling and all that, but I've never committed after the karate because there's no interest, I just got no aims. I have to have a proper aim for me to carry on training.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So without that kind of end result, there was no. I just didn't see the point. I didn't trying to look good to impress people. It was for me when I trained, but I wasn't getting anything out of it. So I would have a good blast and 12 months off, get fat, then you get back and train again. It's like this, it's
the cycle.
A cycle up and down, and it's really frustrating. I'd stop, and I knew what it was going to be like to get back into training, how hard it was going to get, to get back to where I was before. But I still did it, and just, it's really, really frustrating until recently, very recently,
All right. That's awesome. That's a great snapshot. And I guess there's a lot to unpack in there, which we're going to jump back to if you don't mind, Rob, and ask you some questions about
There's
those.
40 years of it. How long you got? It's, I won't want to drag it out too much.
No, that's all good. You speak for as long as you like, my friend. Look at that cup.
Well, my son, my son's in university in Scotland at St Andrews, and he came down this week for a week, and he brought me a gift. And I was going to show it to Lee, but he can see the video after. But he's just gone back today.
I'll tell him.
Yeah, very good.
Oh, awesome! That's awesome. Thanks very much for that, Rob. A couple of things stand out to me. One is the name, Rob Williams. Robbie Williams.
Entertain you.
That's it. Beautiful.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you for that piece first, but you've already done that, so thank you.
Everybody asked me that.
Yeah, I could see why. So how long? So it was 6 years in the army. What was your trade in the Defence Force?
I was infantryman.
Infantry.
Dressed up like a tree,
Yeah. Look, there's a tree. Yeah, no, brilliant.
Did you do the army? Was you the forces?
Yeah, I did. I was in the army as well. I was lucky enough. I did join. I was in the New Zealand and the Australian one, so just under 11 years all up combined. But yeah, loved it. Yeah. So for you, you've gone through this transition. Like Bruce Lee's coming through. You've gotten into karate and all that sort of stuff, and you've competed and done a lot of things at a very high level in there. And then you've gone into the Defence Force, back to karate, and you've done a whole bunch of other things in between, which we'll touch on and talk about as well. Yeah. You've gone through that difficult patch where you mentioned you're in a bit of a dark place, and I don't think you would be alone in that regard with regards to either people in this community or people that may take the time to have a watch and listen. But I want to delve into the point of where you're at now with regards to your training, because when I see your channel and I see the stuff going, it's consistent, it's high volume, it's high reps, it's bloody hard work is another part of it. And what drew you in, or what caused you to get into where you're at now with regards to the burpees and the type of training that you do right now?
Yeah, it was a bit of a strange way. Like most people, I came across the Iron Wolf.
Right, yeah.
I don't know how much you know about British soccer, football. The team I support, Wolverhampton Wanderers, are called the Wolves. And if you're a Wolves fan, you're in the in the Premier League. So all good stuff, mate.
Oh, right. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if you're a Wolves fan, you're in the Wolves pack. So you're in the Wolf pack. Right. So I'm going through YouTube one day, and I see down the side, I see the Wolf pack. I think, something about football. Clicked on it, and there's this bald geezer from America standing there doing burpees. I thought, well, that's crap, isn't it? I can do burpees. I can do 100 non-stop. 100 non-stop, the jumpy, bouncy up and down ones.
Yeah.
And I just looked, I put my cursor across the bottom and it went 1.5.33. I thought, 1.5 minutes to do 500 burpees. I thought, how's he doing 500? And it was Navy SEALs. Well, I'd never seen it. I didn't know what a Navy SEAL was. So I looked and went 150.33. So I dragged my cursor along. It's 1 hour, 50 minutes and 33 seconds. I thought, man, that ain't, no, that's bullshit, that is. So I watched the first couple of minutes. I gave the explanation. I've written it down because it was. He'd recorded February 23rd. 500 Navy SEALs, count them. The infamous routine. Yeah, hour and 50 minutes. I thought that's bullshit. Then. So I watched the first. So I sat there, watched the first 2 minutes, and I went, "Fuck, you know." And I sped it up again. I said, "He ain't stopped yet." That was 10 minutes. 30 minutes, 50 minutes, and I was going along like this, an hour, and he took his shirt off after an hour, and he went, like that, threw it on the floor, went back, I went, fucking hell. He hasn't stopped. It was just that. I think Lee was on about last week, the rawness of his training.
Yeah.
He was just standing there, banging this stuff out, and there was me thinking, yeah, I can do 100 non-stop, and I watched that. Oh, man, and I couldn't believe it, and that was it. And I sat there and I went onto his channel and I spent the rest of the day looking through all his videos, and I just couldn't get my head around somebody could train like that consistently. It just blew my mind, really. And that was it. From that day I went upstairs and I thought, I can do them Navy SEALs. 1, 2, 3. I thought, no, man, I've got some work to do. I've got some work to do. But that was it. I was captivated then. That's what started me off, and that was April this year. So that's probably in the last 6 months, and it's just been consistent. Yeah. It's the only thing, I have to be honest, my whole life that I've just kind of focused on and committed myself to, and wanted to do it every day, other than when I was doing the karate kind of thing. I can't explain it. I can't explain why it is. Why he's created this phenomenon, really, hasn't he, with the burpees, and it's unreal, 100%. Really. Yeah.
He has. And that's awesome to hear, Lee, because you're not alone, and that the amount of people just within this community that I've been lucky enough to sort of back and forth with online have shared similar things about the Iron Wolf, and to hear, but to come back and jump back to yours, we'll jump into the Iron Wolf a bit more as well, but to hear yours, so only since around April this year you've been doing this sort of stuff, is that right?
Yeah, I just had to check. Because I watched that video and then I did my first workout. I wrote it down. Is everything coming out back to front?
Well,
31st of March 21. I did 10 jumping jacks, 10 push-ups, 10 kettlebell swings, 10 lunge combos, 10 burpees, 10 flutter kicks, and it took me about 4.5 hours. Now it took me about 45 minutes to do something now I can do in about 15 minutes. But within a day I was doing this stuff, trying to copy. But
that's
unlike
awesome.
Yeah, unlike other people, they want to do the big numbers straight away. But I was sensible enough just to do it in tens, do 10 of this, 10 of that, which is more achievable, really, isn't it, than trying to bang out 100, and less frustrating.
Well, that's really good advice too, because I think it's easy to get caught up with the romantic part of this type of training and see the big number, go, well, I want to do 1,000 of those, or 500 of that, or 300 of that. Without, and especially if it's been a while, you can end up pretty disheartened, I would say, for some people. Yeah, if you try to jump in the deep end too quick and you're trying to paddle for your life.
You do, yeah, because people are commenting on my videos and they've said, "Oh man, I'm not going to be able to keep up with you." And I don't consider myself anyway being that kind of level. And I'm thinking. They're doing 100. Say, I did 50 and I had a 3-minute break, and they're saying as if they failed. I'm saying, well, you're not failing. It's a process. You've got to get into it and build. And it is disheartening when they look at like you say, they see the big numbers. And I remember watching his first video, 1,000. I thought, absolutely no way I'm ever going to be able to achieve that. And it was probably 2 months before I got to the 1,000. But training every day. But I couldn't have done it unless I'd done it in little chunks, like that.
Yeah,
it's achievable, isn't it? Then you can see the progress of the process. Then they're doing it that way.
That's nice. Yeah, you're taking small bites and just consistently tuning up, and taking more bites, more consistent, and then they get bigger and bigger, right?
Yeah.
Man, beautiful, man. So so that has happened. That's awesome to know. And then you're at the stage now. So I know you don't like being reminded. You mentioned
61. You know,
wisdom. Yes.
Nobody's ever applied that word to me before. Wisdom. Nobody's ever. I don't think nobody's ever called me wise. I can assure you that. But,
well, we'll use it. Yes, I'll get to be the first person then, if that's
bless
the case.
Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome. So with regards to this experience that you have and what you're doing now, you've also, sorry, it's just jumped into my head now. You've also started back, you're working again, right? And you're doing night shift.
I thought I'd retired, but no. I've overspent my credit card. They're asking for money. They want the money back. So, shit, I've got to work, man. It's no good. I'm gutted.
Wow.
Well, there's two reasons to do it. Yeah, I'll just explain why I do
go.
nights specifically, because my daughter's an elite gymnast, and she's in the Welsh gymnastics squad for next year's Commonwealth Games. So she's training 5 days a week, and the wife earns the money, basically. And I do the transporting, make sure my daughter gets to the gym and do the kind of support work. But we need the extra, I need the extra cash to pay for my bits and pieces. So the night works, it's okay, it's not good, but I'm just struggling with the gym runs in the day and trying to find sleep and all that. It took me a few weeks to get into it, but as long as I'm still doing the burpees, still pushing the ground away, even if it's 100, it's still get that done.
Yeah, I reckon. And 100, man, that's still a lot of work. We know what that's like.
Yeah. Well,
so with that, with the work that you're doing and with the training that you're still doing at the moment and being consistent, and I guess where I'm going with this is 61, you're working Sunday to Thursday, is that right?
Yeah.
Sunday to Thursdays, having a couple of days off, still getting your training in, gone through both knees have had surgery, reconstruction?
Just the one. They said they were going to do the other one, but at the minute
it's
fine, so it's just the one, yeah. I've had a knee replacement for the right leg, yeah.
Knee replacement, man, a whole bunch of stuff in there, and you still find time. What would be your advice to people that either, I know people in their 30s and 40s that say, oh, I'm too old now, or I've got, saw this and saw that, and they seem to find every reason to not just move. What would be your advice? What would you share with them to try to encourage them or get them to move?
I think Lee touched on it last week. Just do something. Just get up and move. It doesn't matter what you do, as long as once you make that initial effort to get off your butt, it doesn't matter what it is. Even if it's just for a nice long walk, take the dog out for an extra long walk. Walk on a jog, or every time you go to the toilet, get up and down, just do 10 push-ups. It's just, once you get into that mindset of doing something, then it becomes easier, and you realise then, it took me 20 seconds to do 20 push-ups. I've gone to the toilet, come back, I could do another 20 now, and that's took me a total of 1.5 minutes. So easy found, 1.5 minutes in a day. So you can find time. It's just your mind works against it. It finds reasons not to, doesn't it? It's easier not to do anything than to do it. But once you make that initial start, it's not a problem. But it's just making that, talking yourself. The longer you think about it, the less chance there is of doing anything. So if you just get up, do something, and just get into that habit. So
nice, awesome. I like that. Just get into it. Don't take too long thinking about it. Yeah, because you're right. You can convince yourself, to get out of it.
Talk yourself out of it, don't you?
What goes through your mind, Rob, when you hear people that come up with a reason or excuse to not train? Honestly, how does that make you feel?
I have to be careful, because I used to be one of them people myself, and I have to beat myself to do it. I've been through that. Like I say, I fell off the wagon that many times, that I have been that person, and it takes a lot of convincing. But we used to do it with the karate. When I started karate in the 70s, it was proper stuff. A kick was a kick and a punch was a punch, and you had to block. And if you didn't do it, you get smashed. Like today, it's all family friendly stuff. They even do non-contact karate now. How the hell that's supposed to work?
Really?
It's supposed to be non-contact self-defense, because it's I don't know, health and safety and all that bullshit. But I'm not one to massage somebody's ego. You know what I mean? If they want to do it, you fucking do it. I mean, I'm not going to pat them on the head and you're doing well. No, you've just got to get out there and do it. I'm no sympathy. And also being in the military as well.
Yeah.
You're not going to get that.
That's
Come on, let's go over this assault course, and you're not going to get that kind of treatment, are you? So.
Yeah.
And it's not harsh, is it?
Not.
It's people are too soft now, I think. Really. I think we're too protective,
No,
especially of our kids as well. I mean, I think we're a bit... My daughter's hard as nails. Like 2 months ago, she broke her nose on the bar. She did a catch and release, one round, missed it with the hands, and went smack on the bar. Blood, broke her nose. 2 hours later, she was fine, apart from having a broken nose, but she wasn't. So she was just, So she's tough, but I think the way we mollycoddle people now, don't we? We're just too soft, and I think.
No, and would you say? No, that's great. That's good to hear. And would you say part of that that stands out with the Iron Wolf as well? You reckon? His approach.
The first thing he said on the one video I watched is, "We're here to trade. If you're not interested, just do one, go away." You know,
leave.
It's not an ego massaging exercise. You know, you either come here, turn up, do the work, or just exit. It's as simple as that.
Yeah.
That's the way it should be. I mean, if you're going to train properly. Don't kid yourself and don't bullshit yourself. It's we all know in this community there's no hiding. You know, we all know what the work is. It is what it is, and it's just out and out a grind, isn't it? Whatever level you're at, if you're just starting and you can do 50 or 100, it's equally as hard for somebody who's just doing their first 50 as it is for us to do 500 or whatever. 100%. You know, so we know what it's like. But
great points. The hey Lee, I want to jump back a bit. Are you comfortable? And it's okay if you're not. Are you comfortable? So you spoke about being in a dark place. You don't need to go into the details of that if you don't want to. But how were you able to, I guess, navigate your way through that period of your life? You know, with the resorting to the alcohol and stuff you sort of indicated and stuff there. How were you able to navigate your way through that part of your life to be where you're at now? Because being told by a doctor you got massive liver damage and all that sort of stuff can't have been a positive experience. You know what I mean?
It was quite scary, really. Because I went for a different medical complaint. I got a thing called ulcerative colitis, which is like an inflammatory bowel disorder, and I was on loads and loads of steroids, and I had to go for my regular checkup, and I was hitting the beer a bit too much at the time. And I'd been out the weekend about 4 days before I'd had this blood test. And I thought I'll be okay. There'd be nothing showing up like the alcohol. And he says, your tests are fine. You know what we're checking for. But he said we found quite a bit of substantial liver damage. He says, do you drink? And I did the usual thing. 1 or 2 pints a week. That's all. I was just getting absolutely smashed. He was good at the football. Get pissed. Absolutely. You know what I mean? 3 or 4 days on the lash. It was crazy.
Right.
And I've been doing that for years and years, on and off, binging. And but yeah, that was quite a wake-up call. And it literally was. I just said, no, I've got to stop doing that now. But there's nothing. It was pure and simple. The actual shock of not expecting to have that kind of news off a doctor in the hospital. You know that you've got liver damage. I went, shit, they're bad. That's really bad. You know, it's quite scary. It's quite scary actually.
I bet.
But I've also.
Go.
Yeah, like 2005, we lost our youngest son. He died. He had a serious heart, what's it called, congenital heart disease, and he passed. And that was another difficult stage. But that was another stage. I had about 3 or 4 years where we all just kind of drifted along, and you don't know whether you were coming or going. Really, it took quite a while to kind of settle back to some kind of normality. And that was another period where I went into I was like this. I'm not saying I'm only about 5'4", and I was about nearly 15 stone. So I was like a ball. I'd fall over and rock myself to sleep. I was that fat. I was a right little fat bastard I was, yeah.
Man.
But it wasn't until my wife took a photo of me sitting on the settee, and my daughter, she was only about 3 or 4 at the time, and she was lying on me like that, and she was wrapped round my stomach. And I looked at this picture and I went, fucking hell, you lazy fat bastard, get off your arse and do something. Really, I was shocked. I thought, is that what I look like now? I looked about 75, really, and I was like sitting there and my gut was like that. I thought, nah. That's when I went back on the wagon again, training. I tried calisthenics, I've stopped off the weights, but I was doing lots of running, lots of cycling, calisthenics I liked. But I was not committed. I was just playing at it. I'd do an hour's training, just do this and that, and convincing myself that I'd done a good workout, when really all I was doing was going through the motions and not really achieving anything. But at least it got me off my ass and kind of got me back on the path, really, of clearing my mind, really, because my mind was a bit messed up at the time. So, but it kind of got me back on track, even though physically and the fitness side of it wasn't particularly good, but mental health wise it did me good, just to be doing something, really. So yeah.
Well, thanks very much for sharing that, Rob. And so apologies, I didn't realise. So you lost your youngest son.
Yeah, his youngest
in 2005.
Yeah, it's not a problem. It's always a problem for people until they go, oh bloody hell, I don't want to talk about it. But for us, that's the only way you get through it, really. I think it's kind of a taboo subject, in it, when people, especially child people don't want to approach it and broach it. But it is.
How
one of
old
them
was he,
things.
Rob?
He was only just under 1. He was only quite young.
Right. Very young. And you have how many children? You and your wife have how many children together?
We've got 2, and she's got one from the previous marriage, who's a nurse. She's 38. Okay. So my son's 18. He's just gone back to Scotland, and my daughter's 15. Okay. 15 going on 36. Attitude, you know what they're like. Yeah, but...
And that's the elite gymnast. And what's your son studying?
He's doing international studies, French and Spanish. Yeah.
Wow.
I know,
and is that you? Do you speak other languages too?
Dutch is probably my best, which is not much use because everybody in Holland speaks English. So every time I go over there and I speak Dutch, they go, "Where are you from?" England. Oh, you're English. Okay, my English is very good, so I'll speak to you in English. Now speak to me Dutch, please. No, practice my English. So it's a bit of a wasted. Yeah, I'd learn.
Well, maybe
do some Maori, but there's not much call for the Maori in English.
No, well, and I appreciate your words into the Māori that you send every now and then as well when we're communicating. So
I'm always a bit dubious about that, especially with Google Translate, because it doesn't translate too well sometimes. You know what I mean? So the last thing I want to do, I don't want to insult you. So that's the thing.
No, you haven't. You've been very kind. And maybe your Dutch could come in use with speaking with some of your South African friends. Isn't it similar? Like
it's very similar, yeah. It is, yeah.
Goeiemorgen.
Goedemorgen is slightly different, yeah.
Right.
I think the Dutch take the piss out of the South Africans. They call it Pidgin Dutch. So they're not very... they're not very complimentary, so... Yeah, so you have to be careful. You have to be careful what you say to the South Africans, yeah. The Afrikaans, yeah.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
It is very similar.
Man. And you touched on your wife, which I didn't ask you about. So your wife works. What does she do for work?
She's a social worker.
Does she train like you as well? Does she do some training too?
No, she works and then sits down and watches TV. She's quite happy with that life. Watch a bit of TV.
Do you get any comments from your wife telling you to hurry up or keep the noise down?
Only if it was sex, probably. But no, because we're separated at the minute. We've been separated for quite a while, but we're still...
Oh, right.
Well, I've just been round there now, so it's kind of a weird situation, really. So we're still...
Okay.
Yeah, but it's one of them. It's what it is, but yeah, we're still fine together, but it's just...
Yeah.
Things happen in life. I think things change over time, don't they? But there's no animosity or anything. We still get on. And in fact, she just gave me a French stick to eat, and I've chewed it, and I've just snapped my tooth off there. So I'm not sure whether it's a French stick or an iron bar in there. So, so I'll get the bastard. I'll get him. Break his teeth, a little shit. Yeah.
Okay.
I have to check my coffee for a crushed glass as well, so but that's got to be careful, scorned woman. I hope she doesn't watch this video.
Yeah, well, I don't have her details, so she'll probably only get it if you send her the link.
Yeah, I'll probably do that by mistake. Yeah, but yeah.
So, for you and your, I guess I'm really keen to stay on this health journey a little bit for you. How have you been back, or like, are you still on those steroids? Are you still needing to take the steroids for what you had earlier, Rob?
I had to wean myself off because they said I was having like 12 these really strong steroids a day, and it was really making me sick. Okay. And anybody who's had steroids will probably know that you just kind of bloat with you retain fluid. So I was walking around like the Pillsbury Doughboy, and I was like this. I did the really
like a Oompa Loompa.
Yeah, it was, honestly. Yeah, it was awful. I could bounce down the stairs and stand up, with no pain. It was quite good. Bounce up but I had to, it was really making me ill, like nauseous, and I said to the doctor, I can't take these anymore, and he says, well, just wean yourself off, and I've been fine. That's probably over 20 years probably now. I've not touched them. I've had no ill effects from not taking them, so awesome. Fortunately that's hopefully that bit's in the past, so yeah. Hope so too. Sounds like it,
man. And so you're attacking these workouts that you have, that you come up with, and or that you see, because I know that you follow along with some of Busy Dad's stuff and Iron stuff, and probably no doubt you've got your own. And so this community, I guess I want to ask you about, of these people out here doing burpees and stuff like that, the women and men and all that sort of thing. What has that been like for you? Yeah, the lunatics. What has that been like for you, connecting with the community, supporting them, and have you felt supported by the community?
Yeah, the last time I felt this kind of community feeling was when I did the karate, I was really included in that, and I've never felt it except like in the army. That's a different kind of thing as well.
Yeah.
But outside of that, I've never felt. I've joined groups before, and it usually ends up with people bitching and slagging people off at some point. But this whole community has not been like that, because everybody, like I say, understands what it is to do 100 burpees. So you've all got empathy with each other. You know what it's like, the pain and the suffering and things like that. And like I say, there's no rivalry kind of thing. Nobody's better than anybody else, and it is supportive.
Yeah.
And like I say, I don't consider myself anything special. I look at your stuff, and I look at Lee's stuff, and look at everybody else's, and people say you're awesome, you're crushing. I'm thinking, actually, I'm not doing anything more or harder than what you're doing. Yet you're giving me these kind of compliments, and it's supportive, and it kind of pushes me on to carry on. That's the only reason.
Awesome.
I need that. Like I said, I had that aim with the karate. I had a purpose to. There was an end product. I wanted to be good at competition. With this community, the same, just to keep improving and keep getting better and being part of the community, really, because I think it is. It's quite special, really. I think the kind of people who are on it. I've not had any negative. I've never seen anybody being negative to anybody else when they've posted on the videos. There's nothing like that. And as you say, it is supportive. You write up and you say, I feel shit today. So never mind, son, just carry on. You can do it. And so people, people keep pushing you on and spurring you on. It's a revelation. I think that's the word. Because it's difficult to find that on the internet, because people are out for themselves, really, aren't they? Pushing their own shit. And
that's a great point.
This is something completely different. This, like I say, it's a phenomenon, this burpee thing, that everybody's equal to each other. We've all got the same mindset, I think, and it's a good mindset, and it's supportive. And that wasn't my intention when I put the videos on. That's for my own accountability. I was very dubious about putting them on, because you don't want people to say, oh, look at him showing off, doing his burpees and all that, but it's not been like that. I put it there for my own, if I didn't do it, I knew for a fact I wouldn't turn up next day and do 200 or 250, and it's helped me progress and keep pushing myself. And if it helps somebody who's starting off and they find it useful, then more power. I mean, I'm really really pleased that the kind of feedback I get from just doing what is doing me good, really. So
awesome. That's great to hear. And I agree 100%, echo your same comments. It's a absolutely very unique community I've found just in my short time being connected to it. And seen nothing but positivity on people's, like I'll scroll through a bunch of comments on your channel, on Lee's channel, on a whole bunch of other different people's channel, and everything is just positive. And that in and of itself, for me, when I read that, I think, man, that's got to help that person, I think, in some way feel maybe not only good about themselves, but spur them on, like you said, for the next day. Cool, I'm going to show up the next day. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And sometimes I look like a sack of potatoes while I'm trying to get up and down off the ground. And the support is still there. And I love what Lee mentioned. He said, we call each other brother because we I'll stop trying to do his accent.
Oh no, I keep doing it. Doesn't
because
work,
he didn't understand a word I said. But because we know what each other's been through, we've gone through a pile of SHIT to get there, and we can empathize with that suffering and that pain. And you touched on it as well. You mentioned it here, which I'd like to ask about, the mental aspect. What has that mental aspect? Because I would imagine your mental toughness, your mental strength has already been developed and hardened over the years with regards to your karate, your martial arts, with regards to the Defence Force, going through difficult challenges, family, personal, children, all that sort of stuff. And then to be doing this, has it helped? Have you found your mental strength and ability improve, or has it stayed the same, or have you noticed any difference?
I can't emphasize the difference it's made to mentally, not just mental health wise, but that strength, the desire to keep pushing. I remember I did the first 100 burpees. I thought, shit, that's so difficult. Then I did 150 and 200, and every time, every one you do is a fight, and you go next one, next one. Get up to 300, and then I followed the wolf. I'll lead you up to 500, and I did that. I said, no way I can do this. But you just keep pushing, and every time you do that your mind gets such stronger. And I got to 1,000. I've only ever done it the once, and I don't need to do it again, because I know I've got the mental strength if I needed to do something like that, to do it again. That was just to prove to me that I had the mental strength to stand there for an hour, and I think it's about an hour and 50 minutes to trawl my way through that. That was an absolute grind, but I wouldn't have done that years ago. Even when I was doing the top of karate and I was really keen, I had not got that kind of mental strength to do it. So that's my big takeaway from doing burpees, is the way it's strengthened me mentally, really. I think you'd always keep fit. I think the fitness is something you can do, but building that kind of that mental strength has been pretty phenomenal for me. And it's been really good. That made such a like it impacts on your life in different ways, and it's not just your training. It can make you approach life in a different way as well. If you've got that kind of mental toughness as well, you can apply it to other things. It's not just your training. So it's been beneficial in many ways. I really have to, like I say, I look forward now to getting up. As difficult as it is to get up and bang something out, even if, like I say, just 100, I haven't got time. I just, it just keeps driving me on, and I enjoy the challenge. That's the thing, the challenge as well.
Awesome. Man, so good to hear. And I agree 100% with the words that you've shared in there, Rob, and so far during our conversation. Your so with regards to you and your channel and the training, excuse me, that you're doing, have you noticed within the community? Have you noticed, I guess, when you're putting yourself out there? You sort of touched on it at the start, that you were a bit apprehensive or dubious about doing it, and you did it more for your accountability. Yeah. Have you found that it's still the same with the accountability, or do you find that you also do it now to try to, because it is inspiring, like it is for me to see you, a gentleman of your wisdom, let's use that term again,
very diplomatic.
Putting yourself out there, turning up each day and at night and early hours in the morning in some of your sessions. Do you find that is also, so rather than just your accountability piece now, do you get some sort of fulfillment or enjoyment out of knowing that you're having a positive impact on other people by turning up and putting your stuff out there?
I think you do. It's not something we plan to do, is it? I don't know why you did. Was your videos for the same kind of thing, for accountability? I mean, I assume it would be, wouldn't it, really?
For me, at that time, I was already doing the stuff for a while, and then a friend of mine actually, he sort of said, "Oh, why don't you, sort of encourage me, post it up on YouTube." And I was like, "What for?" He goes, "It could help other people." And I was saying to Lee, I was quite negative. I was still sort of military mindset. It's like, if they can't be bothered getting off their own backside, like, why would I bother putting this up to try to help them? That was my. I was quite, stubborn, arrogant, rude. And then he sort of convinced me. He said, "You know what? Some people, a lot of people, people are different. Some people could just use that little piece of, if they see you doing something, it might help them." And I thought, that's a good point. Yeah, okay, I'll do it. So that was that's the reason for mine. But anyway, back to you.
That's it. I'll try to be modest, really. But I'll still, for my accountability, because I know my nature. I know that if I don't have that accountability, I could just not get up in the morning. So I need to put that. That's still, I'd say it's 50-50 now, because the feedback I do get is people say, somebody put one on tonight saying, really appreciate you putting the videos on, and I mean, it means a lot, really, doesn't it? If you're doing that, and people are finding, getting something out of that inspiration. I mean, it's a big word, inspiration. But if what I'm doing for me is inspiring somebody else, then it's good. It's good. I mean, yes, I don't want to sound like that, but it's. It makes you feel good, doesn't it? It's a good feeling that you're helping somebody. You're not asking anything for it. You're putting it out there. It's free, right. And if they're getting something from it, that's a bonus, and that does make you feel good. So,
beautiful. Yeah, that's awesome. That's great to hear, and it's obvious you're very, very humble, Rob.
That's the word I was after. Humble. I wanted to carry on sounding humble, not like I'm doing it for the benefit of mankind. No, if people do find benefit from what you do, I think that's humbling for me, isn't it? If I do something, if people find that good, then that is for me humbling.
Awesome. And how can people connect with you? What's the best way for people to follow you? I know you've got the Body By Burpees channel on YouTube. What other avenues or platforms can people connect with you, Rob? Or is that the main one? Or
it's mainly that. I've got the Facebook and what's the other one? Instagram. I occasionally put stuff on. Yeah.
Right. And are they all the same? Is it Body By Burpees on Facebook and Instagram as well?
No, they're all different, because I like to be awkward. So I make them all different. So
what are those? So we've got YouTube, Body By Burpees. What's your Facebook one?
I think it's... I'm going to have to look. Let's have a look. Instagram.
Yep, Instagram. Cool.
So I'm a Technophone. Oh, yeah. Rob Williams, 2464.
Rob Williams 2464 Instagram.
Yeah, you can tell I was in the army. 24647680.
2464.
You know your number.
That's your your number.
And Facebook is just Rob Williams Biz. Is it Rob
Williams Biz?
BIZ. Yeah.
BIZ. Awesome. There we go. Rob Williams Biz BIZ on Facebook, and then we've got what was that? Rob Williams
2464.
2464 on Instagram. Awesome. That's great. Rob, I guess really appreciative of your time and really grateful to have you on, and we hope to have you on more times as well. I would like to ask you probably maybe one or two more questions. Your perspective or your take, your advice. So we've heard some of Lee's advice, and you've sort of touched on that for somebody that's starting out, just take action, get started, get moving. What would be, I guess, this question here? Actually, first we'll do this a little different. What have been some of your biggest takeaways? So what have been maybe 3 of your biggest takeaways for yourself personally on this journey that you're on with this bodyweight, calisthenics, burpees, whatever people want to call it, within this burpee community that we're in, what have been your 3 biggest takeaways that have really helped you, that stand out in your mind, that you would like to think that others would potentially feel or take away from being a part of this community as well? What have been your 3 biggest?
Well, I think the biggest, as the part of the community, is the support. Obviously, I think
support.
And this podcast. I mean, this is just a fantastic idea. I don't know who came up with this. This is really, really good idea for the community. It's nice to see the videos, and most people are a bit camera shy. You can tell some people talk on the videos and some don't, and I just talk crap. I just waffle. I talk to myself. It's like being in a town. People tell me to shut up. So I just sit there muttering. I was talking and I talk and I walk around and I listen to the videos after and I'm thinking, what did I just say? And I'm talking shit. Just waffling to myself and muttering and looking at the camera. I think, yeah, twat. Things like that. But yeah, it's just the support. I mean, the community it is special. This is, I say, we've all got a common understanding of what it's like to do this kind of training. Yeah. So that for me is probably the biggest.
Nice.
On a personal level, like the mental health thing of it, like the mental strength I've got from that. And I think Lee said it last week, and I've said it myself today. But just making that effort, get off your backside and do some work, and then it'll come.
Nice,
Trust the process, working with the process, and don't force it. But the other thing I'd like to say as well, I've spent that many years.
Yeah.
You know, when you're young and you think you can do everything, you're indestructible. I never used to warm up. I used to do weights and never used to warm up. I used to do karate. So I could do the splits. I could drop in the splits without warming up. Yeah. Now at 61, I'm paying the price of not
warming up.
Not warming up. It's a simple thing, 15, 20 minutes, just do it and it'll save you a lifetime of misery. Really will.
Yeah.
It's I've had some real crap as a result of it, But yeah, I'd like to come out with some deep philosophical reason for why I'm, what I've taken from it. But it's just been a pleasure. That's why I'm still doing it 6 months on. There's not a day goes past where I don't want to get out and do something, or log onto the YouTube and see what people are doing. It's just, I just find it fascinating that amateurs like us put so much effort into the most painful and disgusting exercise that's ever been developed by man. Why on earth would you want to spend hours and hours ripping your insides out and sweating and feeling sick? But you do weights as well, don't you? You shift.
Yeah, I try to incorporate some weights every now and then.
You're just a masochist, I think. So
hey, maybe it was a woman that designed the burpee. For that reason, for us to just
men are so stupid. Yeah, men are so stupid. Take it up en masse.
Yeah. Great. I love the takeaways, the parts that you spoke about, the support in the community, the mental health aspect of it. Man, just really, really good points that I think that people that maybe aren't familiar with this community, or that maybe they are, probably can resonate and connect with a lot. Appreciate your kind words about, the podcast. And it would be great if other people create their own podcast as well in this community, because I guess, like, with us just having the one, there's so many people, hundreds, thousands of people that we want to connect with. It would be great to have other people, if they felt that way inclined, to create one and the same. Like, we're not precious about other people coming in. We just generally want to connect with the community.
You're not trying to corner the market, are you? You're not trying to make it exclusive. That's a thing. But I'm fascinated. Right. It fascinates me. I've got the greatest respect for professional sports people. But like I say, it's people like us. You've got jobs and families and things, and you turn up every day doing this kind of stupid training. It kills. It's painful. There's nothing pleasant about it, is there? You can't polish it up and make it look pretty. It's not like a shiny gym. It's just hard work, and I think it's the honesty of that people like about it. That's the thing, really. Yeah,
that rawness and honesty that comes through. The only part to like about it. Yeah, the only part, anyway, that I like about it is the end when I finish the session.
Absolutely, because you've got that rush of endorphins and everything. You think, oh man, it's what an achievement, and I can go and have a shower. chill out. But it's have a beer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome. Your takeaways. I like how you reinforce that piece about taking action as well. Because I just want to ask you this, probably maybe one or two more questions. I said that one or two more questions ago now. But what would be some of your other advice that you would share? Because the take action, just make a start. That's hopefully that gets through to people, because that is usually the hardest part, I think, and I've found in my experience of speaking with other people. What would be, maybe a couple of your other tips that you would want to share, that you would hope people would take away from Rob Williams here today, from this episode anyway?
I just think people see the big numbers when they're training, and they want to be the Iron Wolf. And I think I'm sure there's quite a lot. There's
only one Iron Wolf.
Absolutely, yeah. There's no imitations there. But I think a lot of people, I know from the comments, I'm quite sure people have come along and been disheartened. They've tried to bang out the numbers, and I think you need to create some kind of action plan. You don't need. It doesn't need to be.
Nice.
People make the industries set up to make people pay lots and lots of money into it, really. There's no need to make it so complicated. All it is, you turn up, do your work, and there's nothing easier than pushing the ground away doing a burpee. But you just need some kind of an action plan, so as you build up steadily and not get disheartened, then you'll get the benefits out of it. But
awesome.
Other than that, really, I just think you need to just be honest with yourself, be accountable. And I think that I know a lot of people don't do the videos because they're not comfortable being in front of a camera. But there's nobody judgmental. That's the other thing on this community. Is nobody judges anybody else. If you've got a big fat belly and it's flapping up and down, or you look like a sack of potatoes when you're doing it, nobody's going to go, well, you're shit. Sort them out. Everybody's. It's just encouraging.
It's just hearing you say that. Yeah.
So I'll probably say to myself, I look back and say, Christ, you look like a bag of shit. But yeah, it's. I've only found positives since I've been involved in doing this burpees. It's the hardest work I've ever done. And that was another thing about being 61, when I don't like being reminded of my age. I just think at 61 I've wasted 40 years of my life doing shit exercises. If I'd have done this 40 years ago, where would I have been? You know what I mean? I could have been world champion at something else, because the mindset would have been completely different to what I've had over the years. Physically, I'd have been different. It's just, damn. 100%. Just shame I didn't find it 40 years ago and do this kind of training, because it's about a whole world of difference to me in the last 6 months. The outlook and attitude and finding this community, people like yourself, and it's been a bit of a revelation. It's been really good.
Man, that's awesome. So good to hear, Rob. I appreciate all your comments and those things there. Hopefully our audience and the community can take something away. Maybe they connect with and resonate with everything that you've said. I know that I've really connected and resonated and learnt a bit. I like that piece about come up with an action plan. Be true to yourself and that in terms of what your objectives and stuff are. But that action plan is a key part, I think, because as we touched on in this podcast earlier, people see the big numbers and it's easy to get drawn into that. So to hear somebody like yourself share these, and the other key part that I've taken away as well is that it's not too late. It's never too late to start, but it's also, it's not too early either. So like the sucky part of it for, I guess if I transport myself back more than 20 years to in my 20s, and I was, I liked the thoughts and the look of the typical gym training sessions. But man, I think far out, if I had have done this type of just grinded like this day in, day out, where would I be now in my early 40s? And so for yourself to hear you, again, sharing that knowledge and the wisdom that you've gained over these years, Rob,
I like that word,
is going to be invaluable. Wisdom,
like
that's
that.
It, man.
But yeah, that's the thing, like I say, I'm 61 and I'm still doing it now, and I've got limitations I've got arthritis in the shoulder and the foot and new knee. But you can still do it. You find your limitations. You find and you work around. If you've got issues, you can work around it. And burpees was the only thing. Before I had my knee replaced, it was the only exercise that I could do without pain. I couldn't walk, but I could do burpee. The stupid ones, the springy up and down ones. I could do them.
The ones like Lee describes them like a cat that's just touched the water.
Yeah. Yeah, but them are the ones. But I could do it. It didn't stress my knee. So if I could do it with a really badly damaged knee, there's hope for anybody really. You just got to find where you are, take it steady. If it's 5 burpees, sit down. 10 burpees, have a rest. Just do it nice and gradual, and it'll come. People keep saying, "I've been doing it 3-4 weeks now, and I'm only up to 100." So it doesn't matter, does it? What's the rush?
Yeah.
Why rush?
Right.
Why rush and damage yourself? It's enjoy the process, enjoy the suck and the pain and the grind. It's all part of it. It's all part of the beauty of it. But it's honest training, and you can't disguise it. It's not, it's not a shiny gym. You can hide behind your machine and you're texting your boyfriend or your wife or whatever. It's there, out there for everybody to see, and
that's right.
It's really good.
Man.
Honest hard work.
Awesome.
You can't beat it.
Honest hard work, 100%. I love that. I think that's going to be the title of this episode with yourself, Rob. Honest hard work, and
from a wise man.
From a wise man. Correct, 100%. I like that. You've just given it. Honest hard work from a wise man, Rob Williams. Mate, I just want to take this opportunity and acknowledge you and thank you, Rob, for the way that you turn up each day, for the work that you put out there, and the way that you hold yourself accountable, and the way that you do, you do motivate and you do inspire people like myself and many others that think, man, if that's what's possible there, at that stage, or and that's with regards to what Rob's doing, or with regards to what Body By Burpees, Triple B is doing, then I've got no excuse. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Like, I can find a way. I love the words that you've mentioned. Find a way, work around it, modify it. Instead of going, I'm only up to 100 after 4 weeks. Like, be stoked that, well, where were you 4 weeks earlier?
Well, exactly.
If you weren't at 100 and you're at 100 now,
exactly. That's the point.
It's brilliant. Yeah, take the positives from it. Honest hard work will help us get the results, mate. You are a motivation and an inspiration to so many of us. I really appreciate you, Rob, and appreciate your time. Again, for our listeners, you can connect with Rob, Body By Burpees on YouTube, Facebook. Was it Rob Williams Biz?
B-I-Z. I think it's just Rob Williams
B-I-Z.
Yeah.
Rob Williams Biz, and then we've got Rob Williams 2464 on Instagram.
Yeah, that's the one.
So those 3 platforms, we encourage and invite all of you. We'll put some notes and stuff in the description in that as well. We invite all of you to connect, follow, like, share, subscribe to Rob Williams' channels and the work that he's doing, and be a part of this community. Continue to support and reach out, and you'll find that will come back to you in spades from this community. So we're grateful to have you, Rob. Lee Hazard sends his apologies that he couldn't be on here, but we know that we'll reconnect with you again anyway down the track. That's Scotland, funny. Look at that.
Aye.
He missed out.
Let's do our crappy Scottish voices, shall we?
Let's do a wee burpee.
Aye, let's do some with his long beard down to his chest.
But awesome, Rob. Thank you so much for your time, my
friend.
I
appreciate the invite, and I'm grateful that you think me worthy of your airtime, I have to say.
Oh, 100%, my friend. All right. Well, with that, that's the end of this second Move, Sweat and Suffer podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had the privilege of having Rob Williams on here, and that's us signing off. See you, my friend. I'll just hit stop on here. Cool. That's going to download.